Hi everyone, how are you today? I am Nolana Lynch and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am excited because in today's video, I am preparing my December daily albums for 2025. Usually I forget to do my label spines and album things until probably the following year or the end of the project. This year I wanted to do it first simply because I thought it would be exciting to just get it done quickly. It takes the shortest amount of time really compared to the size of this project, so excited to get into that today. Please, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do so below and sign up for notifications so that you can know every time I upload a new video. This is December daily season, and so I'm gonna have quite a lot of videos for you over the next few months as we work through our albums in our community. Also, please like and comment below. How are you setting up your album this year? I know lots of us may be working in the green stripe 10x8 or other Ali Edwards albums. Do you usually do things to your spine? It's probably the most minimal things, but I'm really excited to get it done this year and I've dedicated an entire video to it. So let's get into today's video. So let's open this album up. I decided to use a 10x8 album this year, mostly because I feel like I'll have lots of photos and stories to tell. I am starting things off with this A4 white piece of cardstock paper. It's a premium paper, about 200 GSM, and I'm just going through the stamps from this year and there. I love this bouquet and quite a few of the elements in the pastry press stamp. I also pulled out some of the labeled ones, which has some nice sentiments, and the December daily from one of those older stamps. I believe they restocked it for the December daily release, and I'm gonna fit it onto that spine with the label pin. I love buying the pin every year and these tassels, so it's a bit to put together because I also put together the inside of the spine. So I hope you'll stay with me and watch this video, and I hope that you enjoy it. I like these with the words and the dates and quite a few lovely sentiments there. I'm looking to see if there's any December daily there, and there is. And then there's also the ones here, about a few on this stamp as well. But then I realized that in some of the other stamps, I'm just going to measure this to see which ones will work best for the spine. And I'm still working through the design as I go along on this journey with you. So it's about 1 inch by almost 2 inch. I did 1.875, but I'm sure 2 inches would be just fine. It's probably a bit long with 2 inches, but you can't really see it. I pull out some of my stamps and embossing powders as well. I want to do a mix of red and green on this spine, so I'm just looking through and pulling my pencil out. I have this really cool pencil, guys. It's a retractable or push point pencil, but it looks like a regular pencil and it's pink. Had to have it. And then I am just gonna do about 6 of these boxes because I have a few ideas in mind for my spine, and I want to play around with it a bit before I decide on which one I like best. And I'm gonna leave this part of the video just in case there are things in here that you like and are inspired by in my testing out different ideas. So using my T-square instead because I'd get straighter lines, and they looked a bit off for me, but I'm not sure it's just because I have my mat at a little bit of an angle, or the paper was at an angle, or maybe I was at an angle. But anyway, I felt like the T-square was the best way to get the most accurate straight lines in this instance, seeing that I'm not using my rotary trimmer, which has, you know, the top edges lined off and whatnot. So I'm just gonna line this off. This is a T-score I bought a few years ago, and to be honest, I had it on my craft cart, planner trolley, craft trolley, for years, and I only just pulled it out recently and started using it. And it's the best thing. I'm not sure why I didn't use it before. Um, but especially now, I think that I'm mocking up designs a bit more than usual. It's coming pretty handy. So I'm just going to have my boxes there, and I'm going to play around with some of these things. So there's a 2025 and a December daily in this stack, which is quite neat. And I'm just gonna pull this one out. I really like that 2025 because it matches some of the other elements in this year's collection, and that December daily fits in quite well. Two, I am wanting to believe that these were created for our album labels. So in double checking they are the right size, which is perfect. And so I'm also looking at some of the phrases in the pastry press stamp. She usually has some really cool stuff. So I'm thinking that this bow would look nice there as well. So just gonna pull that out and see how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. So bow, December daily, that looks nice together. And then I'm also saying that I will have to pull the 2025 stamp off to get to see what it looks like. We'll get a little mock-up or feeling of what it looks like. So I'm gonna pop that on in the middle there, and I'm liking the vibe so far. And so I'm going to begin stamping around and playing around with this now that I have a bit of a concept in mind. I also like the top, that, you know, this bit here of the stamp might be nice for a frame below. I don't go with it in the end, but I still quite like it, and I feel like if I use it for the top and the bottom, maybe to frame the label, that would look quite nice and bring it together. But for me, there was a bit too much white space when I just use it on the base alone. So maybe that's a great idea if you'd like. I mean, there's so many elements in the stamps this year that we can use for this purpose. So just lining them up, thinking, yeah, this could work. And then I might just dive into it all soon. Another thing to think about would be, you know, these stars are quite nice. Probably using some bits of the stars to frame the base, because right now there is quite a bit of white space left. Or creating a little like collage-ish type thing with like the cone and the star on top to make like little trees on the base. So many ideas and so many things to use. So yeah, let me just keep lining them up. Another thing to think about is color scheme. Red only, gold only, green only, a mix of all three, a mix of two, black and white, keep it simple, you know. So a few things to consider for these tiny little album labels. So I start things off with the bow. Initially, I use a red archival ink, and I'm also using this Tombow eraser to just kind of smooth it off a bit. And then I go in with the darker red. I usually use the brighter red that I love. I do purchase quite a lot of reds, trying to find what I call my perfect red. In this case, I've liked how this one looks, and I am stamping it on right here. And then I'm just going in and stamping a couple more because I felt like the first one wasn't a clean impression. Um, Once I have that done, cleaning my stamps right away so that it doesn't stay red. I also found in this instance that the baby wipes work quite well for cleaning stamps. So you'll see those up here. These are just some nice cheap ones from the supermarket that I bought in a box some time ago when my kids ran out of theirs. So we keep them to top up. Um, I feel like I'm gonna go in now with the 2025 and I am wanting to gold emboss this one. But what happens now is as I'm pushing embossing powder here and popping it down, I always find it so hard to see. I actually bought a lit pad this week. I'm hoping that really helps me with my crafting project for white on white. But anyway, I'm popping the embossing powder here, and I wasn't extremely careful to stay on the 2025, and I also went up on the bow. And so what happened was embossing powder stuck on that red ink as well. That I stamped a bit earlier. And now that's something that I'm not sure if everyone knows this. It's always a happy surprise to me when the inks collect embossing powder. It did create a very kind of golden gilded type effect on the bowl, but essentially the red was so muted that I wasn't sure that was the direction I would go in. Now some people may like that, which is absolutely fine. It was gorgeous, but what I wanted for my spine was a contrast of the red and the gold. So I eventually used this red glitter embossing powder for the bow and then the gold embossing powder for the 2025. I also stamped the December daily in this dark green, but I didn't quite. I wanted December daily in red is what happened. I love the green. Green is super cute. I'm a big fan of green, but to me the words December daily needed to be red. And so this is why it's great to test things out before. I'm also wanting to play with these three elements, the wreaths and the border, to see what I like most. So I start things off with this border and I tape off the parts that are over the 1 inch wide. So I'm using a bit of washi tape for this and just kind of lining it up here to see how that goes. And once I've done that, I'm just gonna pop it onto the same dark green ink and apply it to the base of the label. And this is quite interesting for me because I love those elements and I feel like this particular stamp, I want to use it. Coming up next week, I would want to do an idea sketching video for YouTube, specifically geared towards using our products in our December daily albums, because I found that a lot of times I don't use the stamps as much as I'd like to, and so I'd like to feature the stamps for some foundation pages. So just going through, I love that little bit of like, and as I said earlier, if I did it top and bottom and then had the bow and the 2025 December daily, I feel like that would have been the label. But because there was a bit of white space left over when I did it like this, I felt like something was missing. So Now that I'm seeing it, like looking at it, I feel like, oh, that would have been so cute, top and bottom. Makes me want to do it over. But anyway, I love this wreath as well, and I feel like the wreath would be a great it's a great kind of addition to the label. Oh gosh, I love that little border so much. I can't stop thinking about it. I use my old washi tape again, and I'm just going in there, tapping lightly. This is a very juicy ink pad, and I've had it for years now, and it's still very juicy. And so I'm just gonna change. First, I do a full dark print, but I find that it's a bit stark for me. And so when I go in to use it again, I just gingerly touch it on the stamp pad and then gingerly touch it on the paper and do a bit of shadowing type stamping for this. So I'm gonna pop this star on because I felt like that was a cute element as well, but it seems a bit lonely on the paper. And so what this is gonna do now is just give me some ideas of what works best for my label for me for this year. I also think a great tip would be to pop it onto your spine or just hold it up to your album so that you can see what looks great to you. And so just playing around a bit more because I wasn't sure about that first wreath, but I'm going in now because this wreath is a bit wispier. And so I feel like this wreath is gonna give me the effect that I want on my album label. So just touching it lightly, and then I'm gonna go in now again and just cleaning it up because I feel like it might leave a darker impression than I'd like. And then I'm just going to do it again, but just a bit gingerly. At this point, I'm not sure if the idea I have is what I really want for my label. So I'm just gonna go in now with the bow, do 2 bows, and then moving along with the elements that I am sure of. So I'm sure that I want the red glitter embossing powder for the top, for the bow, and then I'm just popping that on, and I'm going to heat it now to emboss it. And once I am done with that, I go on in and I just hit that beautifully, and yeah, so going to let that heat up nicely. I find the glitter a bit more difficult to see when it's heated up and fully embossed, so that's always quite interesting to me. And once I have that fully done, I can go on in and do the other couple of pieces with this label. This 2025 is super cute with the big O, slanted O. And so I thought that it would be nice to use it because it is unique, and I do not think that we've had, like a unique stamp in the past with the 2025, with using some of the artwork or fonts from the album. I've seen from the collection, I've seen it pop up as like a type font and it is in the label word version of the stamp set this year, but I don't think I've seen that in the past. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. So I felt like it was a great opportunity to actually use this stamp, because when else would we use it? It's the November 2025. We have to get in all the 2025 stamps as much as we can before the year ends, and I guess with any rollover projects that you may have or that you are working on in the future, which I'm realizing builds up over time as we craft more and more. So this is fun. I love how it's looking. It's shaping up nicely, and I again decide to use some red glitter embossing powder for the December daily part, because I didn't want it to spread to the other parts. You know, like if I did use red ink, I didn't want any more embossing powder to spread. But technically it probably wouldn't have, because I don't think I embossed that much more. But I feel like I didn't get a smooth print of the stamp when I did it this way. So in the end, do it over with my red ink of choice for my archival ink. So just gonna continue heating that, realizing that the D is a bit wonky because I didn't get a clean impression, but I'm definitely going to work in on my wreath. So I'm just kind of tapping it off the side and doing that a bit, going in some more, tapping it a bit more, and just kind of going in gingerly until I get to the effect that I like. And I'm gonna do the same for this. I'm just gonna add in a touch of gold embossing powder here, simply because I thought that gilded look that I got with the bow earlier was quite cool, and I wanted to repeat it here to get a similar look. And so I'm just also brushing off some of the excess before I heat it up, and I'm also clearing the spots where there are berries, because I decided that I want to just pop some berries in there too later on. So I am heating this up. I quite like how it looks. It's a bit artsy, a bit whimsical, even though the elements themselves are, you know, on the cutesy side. So that's shaping up nicely, but I decided I need some red down below where there are the green foliage pieces. So just lining that up, just checking to see how I like it. And I think it's time to commit, so I'm just going to remove the plastic from this album and get this show on the road. Like, for me, ripping the album open is like, it's almost like cutting a ribbon at an event. It's like I declare December Daily officially open in my craft room. My albums are open and ready to go. So here we are, decorating our album with all the glory that is December Daily and its supplies. My desk is so full right now with stamping, embossing ink. I'm like, this is the epitome of a December Daily layout. It just takes up all the space. Love that for this project. You take up space, December Daily. And cutting down these little labels and seeing how they fit. Quite frankly, this one ended up being a bit too short, so I received the opportunity in this to do it over. I mean, when I'm looking at it now, it looks absolutely fine. But at the time I thought it was too short, so I add some more boxes on the right and I just do it over. And now I'm gonna add in some berries using a mix of Nouveau drops and pops of color for the base. I use some translucent ones as well as some opaque ones. I use some bright reds as well as some deeper reds. This one is, I think, a stony type red drop. Mix it up completely, and now I'm just thinking that I will just add in some more dots as I go along. And yeah, the way I kind of just gonna stop right here. I'm gonna let it dry for a bit, and then I will cut it down and add it to my album. So this is what it looks like, and now I'm gonna show you what it looks like in my album. So I'm gonna cut these down quickly. I also have my pins there. So yeah, just cutting this down using my rotary trimmer, and then just lining it up and making sure that I cut it straight. Once I have those on, also make sure that these are dry. These kind of Nova drops, it did stick a little. I mean, it was dry and it was fine, but you know, just the material is a bit, yeah. So just make sure that that dries thoroughly, and then I have my pins. And I think one of the main reasons I'm doing this is so that I use my pins. I pulled out my 2024 pins and popped it behind me in my craft room to remind me to put those on. And I love these tassels. I was obsessed with finding them ever since I saw Freckle Pickle Lisa use them in a layout in product play years and years ago. Probably one of the first product play lessons ever. And I became obsessed with finding them. And I eventually found them last year at a lovely little scrapbooking store here. And I was sure to get a few because I like them so much, and I've never seen anything quite like it since, you know, that release. Anyway, so I decided to use two different colors for a bit of fun, because on my shelf, you know, you'll just see it's fine. So I thought those are fun. And these labels are cute as well, these label pins. So just gingerly eyeballing it. Very risky for your album. I would recommend measuring to make sure it's centered. But I was in a mood to be adventurous and live life on the edge. There is a bit of not sure why I thought these would fit, but they don't. So then I have a bit of protruding pin that I clip down with my clippers, so that it's not as exposed or sharp, and then I end up using embellishments and stickers. I feel for previous albums I've used pieces of chipboard because I feel like chipboard is just sturdy, and so you're not likely to be cut by a sharp piece of metal. Anyway, I cut this on my clippers. You can also use some sanding and like sand it down a bit if you'd like, but I decided to cover it with these puffy stickers. I would probably recommend chipboard though, but yes, these looked cute, and they did the job. So I found this stash of really cute puffy stickers from 2020 collection, and I used the ones that I had to also like create a similar layered circle stack on the inner spine. I used the number 25, which for me, because I'm very nerdy, 2025 and the number 25, super cool. I'm just kind of layering these up. I mean, these are stickers that I probably otherwise would not have got around to using, and they're so cute. See if I could pop a tree in there, but instead I get a star or two in there. I believe I do find some trees in the end, because I have these cutesy ones from a couple of years ago, which I adore. And I'm just gonna create some little trees. I was thinking to do a little tree cluster down below there, but I don't have the space for that. So I am simply using one little tree, 2025, and some of these elements, and I like how it looks. This is also something that I've never really done before. I mean, last year I did I used a December daily 2024 die cut as a pocket on my cover and did that as my family page. Previous years I probably I've stuck an envelope to the front with our family cards, with one of the clear envelopes from the envelope bundle. That was 2023. Before that I've done some kind of inner cover, just a design. I would love to look back through my albums to see what I've done, but this is the first time I've just simply decorated the spine, to my knowledge. I may be wrong. I might go back through my albums and realize that no, I have done this in the past, but I really don't remember doing this for December daily, and I thought it was quite fun. I'm doing the exact same thing on this second album. I apologize that it's a bit out of frame. I just had it a bit closer to me on my desk, but it's the same as the one before, and just adding in the star and the tree, and yes, some extra cutesy stars there. These are some cute stars too, and then a similar size, a tree as well in this chipboard piece, but a slightly different color, which I think is good for variety. So let me just add those bits on, and I can't wait to share with you the final result of it all. Some chipboard stayed back when I pulled the star off, so I'm just using some tacky glue to stick it down. There we go. And so this is what it looks like in the end, guys. Just a little cluster of things, and I thought this was really cute to start my album off before popping my pages in there. So here we go, our 2025 December daily albums. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.